Proverbs 16:7. When the Lord takes pleasure in anyone's way, he causes their enemies to make peace with them. Does anyone like having enemies? If he finds pleasure in intentionally making enemies of others, then the person may have mental problems. It is better to live without making enemies if possible. However, it is a historical fact that no matter how careful you are, there will always be enemies. However, many who were once enemies can later become best friends. The responsibility of God's children is to level enemies and make friends. Jesus was sent to Herod by Pilate during his interrogation, thus ending the long-standing enmity between Pilate and Herod, thus indirectly Jesus leveling them. But on the cross, he ended the enmity between God and men because of sin and leveled it in himself. Those who live a life pleasing to God are seen by men as enemies. It can happen because we are not partners in sin, but because we are on the side of righteousness. Enmity can rise from men's enmity when they see the peace and joy of those who love God. No matter how much good you do, there will be enemies. Enemies may arise because of wanting to change the status quo of society. If we neglect such things, thinking that there should be no enemies, it will harm our spiritual life. We must understand this verse only in part as saying that God himself will do the work of turning enemies into friends because we live a life that pleases God. When Abimelech, the Philistine king, realized that God was with Isaac, he stopped hurting and made a covenant in Genesis 26. Even enemies will get along knowing that if God is with them, they cannot be defeated. May God bless us.